So this thing always says go. Um, hold on. But whenever I go back to to look at the show, it's not correct. Um, there we go. Fixing little things in there. Even though we're recording live, like the beginning part, it never catches anyway, so it doesn't matter. So welcome everyone back to another episode of Locked and Loaded, where we keep it locked and loaded with information. As always, co-host Javis, always here. It's good to see him. He's a little bit sleepy. He just finished his job that actually pays him money until this starts paying us money. So we'll keep it going the best way we know how. Before James gives the subjects of what we're talking about today, hopefully he does have a subject to talk about today. But I'm on the fourth season of Attack on Titan, and I'm pissed because I would have to say in in a moment of confusion because why the heck is season four starting with like a regular war? And then I don't know if they're in the past, the present, or the future, or all the above. And then when they start going back into details of the people that were Titans and they went back to, as them as kids growing up and going into the thing, I'm so confused. I can say with honesty that season two was the last season that I watched. Maybe even the episode where the gigantic Titan was on top of the wall, uh, and it was only half his body. That was the last episode that I watched. Then I started the whole series all over again. So I got confused on that, and I
Wow.
stopped watching. And I know the show makes a lot more sense when you're alert. But you have to be because my confusion was main characters die like nobody's business, and I've never seen characters that you know and love die. But I swear to God, I'm sitting there, sitting back on season three, and when his best friend coughed, I lost my. I don't know if I'm allowed to curse on here. It's my show. What I'm supposed to say, but I lost it when he coughed. I was like, "Get the out of here!" And then the whole next episode was just an argument, literally just an argument of who to who, what to what. I can't say anything because I don't want to ruin it for anybody because then I got to put spoilers on here. But oh my gosh, the whole episode was an argument. It
Yes.
was why you as opposed to why this person. And
Yes.
when you finally see what's about to happen and then something else happens, holy crap. Jeez. It's just like you gotta be kidding me. And so I'm flipping out because I'm like I'm vested. I'm leaning forward, and you got to be honest in life. If you lean forward while you are watching something, even though you were already leaning forward, it has you. Period in the story. There's no question about it. You can sit there and make up anything and everything you want, but as soon as you lean forward, you have chosen to engage in such situations, and therefore it becomes something that's very important to you. You are vested. Leaning forward means you are vested. Whether you hate it, whether you love it, you are vested. They get credit for that. So they got much credit for that mess. And
Oh my God. I
watch
remember
every
getting off from
episode.
work. I
Yeah,
remember getting off from work and just being like, tonight is the night because they have been talking about that episode for so long. They're just like, the fight between blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. And you're just like, what is it about? What are we going to see? Because one thing I forgot to tell you is that at the end of season two, they tease that fight. And it's at the very end of the show, you watching the credits, and in the middle of the credit song, the screen starts shifting in and out. And you're just like, wait, what is it? This doesn't look like the regular ending credit. It shifts in and out, and then it cuts to that scene, which isn't until another 20 episodes. And in a whole nother season, they had already filmed it.
that's not fair.
And they cut to that scene and they show you 20 seconds of it. And then when Mikasa jumps up, it cuts back to the regular ending. And you're just like, what just happened? For an entire year, we had no idea what it was going to be about.
Dang. That's one of the best benefits of watching something when it's practically over is because wow, like the idea of being of having to deal with that, I would have to see a counselor because they were like, "Why are we seeing you?" there's something going on in your love life, something going on with your family, your mom, your dad passed. No, at the end of Attack on Titans, on season one, they showed this one clip. I don't know what it means. I need you to watch it. I need you to watch the whole series and help me figure this out. We're gonna go through some emotions. Yeah, I could totally see me being that stupid
Oh
and knowing
my
that and they
god.
kicking me out.
That is literally, but that's how Attack on Titan fans have been. Like every single time you've talked to us, and we've just been like, Joe, why are you not watching it? This is the level we've been on this entire time. And we're just like, this is one of the greatest animes, but if you don't focus and you don't stick around for it, you miss it. You miss so much
I tried
greatness.
to the first time. It was that's one of the few animes where I don't know what's going on and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. But then when I do, they do a flashback without even telling you, so you have no idea. And then you think a person is the good person and then they're the bad person. Then you think the bad person is the good person. Then you think the close friend is gonna stay, then they get eaten. Then they think the person that's not even a main character, not really in it, doesn't get eaten and becomes a hero. It's like everything is always, it's like your stomach is constantly churning. I've
You don't
never
know
had a
what's gonna
series do
happen.
something like that. But what bothers me is that you get to the end of season 3 and it's
Powerful season.
everything you think it's going to be. But then season 4 comes on and I'm confused. And I don't like being confused because then I'm like, do I need to rewatch the whole entire episode again? And I'm like, I think I do because I don't know what's going on. But then I see pieces of it like, oh, wait, but then that happened. But no, didn't that happen first? Well, what happened then? Well, then who's that person? And wait, are these, how many are there? And wait, so who got eaten? And so I don't like feeling that way. And that's what makes me stop. Then I forget about it and then I move on to something else that doesn't hurt my brain. And then I eventually come back to it, but then I don't remember anything when I come back to it. So I'm even more confused than I was before. So
And no, and
that
the
on
thing
Titan.
about it is, I'll never spoil anything about on Attack on Titan. But season 4 is probably the only season they meant for you to be confused by, which is the reason why season 3 was supposed to be the ending. The manga goes on for season 4. Season 4 is the last the chapters of Attack on Titan. They weren't gonna do it. They said people are gonna be confused, they're not gonna get it, and they're not gonna like it. And the second it all snaps in, and you're just like, oh my god, is this where we are? Blows your mind. And that's where everyone else has been this entire time because you did not get it wrong. This is a completely different show. And it is incredible because of the fact that the writer wrote this, of the fact that you know what happens at the end of season 3.
Correct.
And what happens at the end of season 3 changes everything. And then they're just like, okay, so now we're going to take what you know and the fact that this is now what everyone you've seen now knows. Now let's take their knowledge and do not what you would do in this situation, not what you and your friends would do in this situation, but what they would do in this situation. And let's make the rest of the show about that. You are confused for a reason. It will snap in when it snaps in. Keep watching. That's all I can say.
Okay, so I'm on season 4. What season are you on then?
This is season 4. It's the final season. They're dragging it out though.
No, I'm confused then because I watched all of season 3. There's a whole season 4. So am I like season 4 part 1 and you're watching season 4 part 2?
Yeah, this is
Is there
literally.
four
I'm on
part?
part 3.
Huh?
I'm on part 3.
Okay, so I got a season 4 part 1 and a season 4 part 2 that I gotta watch.
Well, technically, yeah. Season 4 is only a certain amount of episodes, but then there is a part 1 and 2. Technically, there's like 6 episodes and then 6 episodes. I think it's like that. I think it's 12 in all, but they're on the final episode. The final episode is split into 3 parts. There was a part 1 on the final episode of the season. Part 2 is what just premiered, and it was an hour and a half movie. Part 3, which is supposed to be the final part of the whole thing, is premiering in August, and that's also going to be a 2-hour movie. So,
Okay, so I see an episode is called Season 4, Episode 29, the final chapter, and
yes.
that's what you just watched.
Yes.
And that is an hour and 1 minute.
Yes.
Okay, so then if you go back to 28, because my problem is it shows, does it do that? Oh, no, it's actually not doing that. So there's 28 episodes that I,
Yes.
and then the movie, so to speak,
Yes.
or an hour long episode.
Yeah, and
The
that movie
long
is
episodes is split into three parts.
technically yes. So 2029 is part 2 of what you just saw, and then part 3 is coming out later this year.
Okay, so I
And that
can
should be
watch all these episodes.
mhm.
Um, okay. Okay. Um,
And literally everything that you're watching is everything that has come on, what was it? 2021.
Season 4, Episode 1, the air date was December 6th, 2020.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
Wow. So I'm sure COVID prevented a lot of these episodes from happening.
Yes.
Um, so technically, you guys would have already been done if COVID never happened.
I believe so.
Okay.
But knowing them, they Maba would have probably tried to drag this out anyway. So,
And
uh,
so just to make sure,
but you're
I,
going in the right direction.
yeah, I think I might end up starting it all over again to be on the safe side on season 4 because
Okay.
that is some confusing mess. But I kind of wanted to go over that with you before you started anything, even though now I realize we're halfway done with this show.
I
But it,
know.
it the show is just, it grabbed me. And honestly, if they had to end it with the last scene in season 3, I would have been content. I would have been like,
And
oh my gosh, Jay, this was, wow, doggone episode heard me talking to about it and it started playing.
started playing.
Um,
But
I
that was where
would have
everybody
been
was.
completely content with it. And then you start this episode, and I see immediately. Sorry, thought I saw a giant spider jump down and try and grab me. Sorry. Um, I immediately see what's happening. In my opinion, I think I know what's going on, but um, yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at I'm confused as hell because I want to sit there and say I understand what's going on, then say the same phrase. I'm confused. No, I don't.
Yeah.
I see things happening, and I don't know my left from my right in this situation, and I'm hoping that it'll eventually come to fruition. But you're saying somewhere in the episodes of season 4, it's all gonna make sense
Yes, very soon.
before this episode of the 1 hour you watch.
Oh yeah, you're by episode 2 or 3 you'll realize what's actually going on.
I'm on
And
episode 5, so I'm screwed. Okay, got it.
oh, never mind. Wait, what just happened? Where you? Because I mean, spoiler alert. We're talking about Attack on Titan. Go watch it. Skip forward because we'll be talking about something else at minute 15. We're only going to spend 2 more minutes on this.
Yeah.
But what part are you at?
So season 4 starts with the war going on. They said we've been in this war for 3 years.
Yes.
They do a battle, and the battle ends with the monkey guy throwing, which is so stupid. Why is the monkey guy throwing barrels? Is this Donkey Kong? Like I gotta just
But you just Donkey Kong got nothing on Reiner.
his specialty is throwing shit. Like literally, like they got this other dude. I'm a big titan and I'm strong. I have all this strength. I'm a fire titan. When I come up around and the whole place explodes because of how powerful I am. What do? I throw barrels. No, I throw them hard, real hard. Yeah, that's what I do. And
And
I'm
here and here's why I know you haven't reached where you should be, because they explained that.
No, they explained the Titans, and I saw is it Gerald Barrel Farrell grow up and become
Zeke,
huh?
Zeke.
No, the other one. There's the two guys. There's two guys and the girl that infiltrated the
Oh, Reiner and Bertolt.
Bertolf. That's what I said. Yeah, I can never get his name right. So they infiltrated, and the fourth dude got eaten. And because he got eaten, it changed their whole plan. So instead of them going back home, they decided to still continue because they had no idea that the Titans would be that far out, which is kind of funny in a way. Like you got eaten by your own strategy. That's kind of effed up. And then you go in to sit there and attack that, which is so funny how it's Attack on Titan and his name is okay. But so I'm at that episode where we get to watch them grow into the ranks and see what happens, and then that's kind of where I stopped at. So I guess the next episode's gonna help me out, because I gotta sit there and say that you told me season 2 was slow. There was not a slow moment in season 2. I think you meant season 3.
Yeah, the first part of season 3 was slow, but
In my
it
opinion, there's never been a slow episode as long as I've been watching, because the information was just as important to me as the action sequence. You're
yeah,
getting the information, action happens, and it may have been a conversation, but those conversations were extremely important on
they're
finding out what was going on.
always important,
So
and the ending.
listening to the conversation kind of just it builds everything up, and you hear them say something, and what's funny that they'll say something, then the episode of course goes off, and then you got to watch the episode. The benefit I have is I can go ahead and watch the next
You
episode,
can keep
but the
going
benefit that y'all didn't have when y'all watched it is y'all had to wait, and I can't imagine
whole week.
the horror, because you got Dragon Ball Z. You know what's gonna happen. There's no
Yes.
question about it.
You know
This,
what's gonna happen because it's in the title. Goku dies.
yeah. So
Like,
Goku's
what
on
the fuck?
Dragon Ball Z. Technically, everybody comes back. It depends on what the situation is. It's like
Yeah.
something's wrong. Let's go bring back the dead guy from 40 years ago to help fight this battle. Okay, he comes back and fights. There's no coming back from this. When you are eaten or you die, you're done.
It's done.
Um.
It's a done deal.
Oh my gosh! But it's yeah.
But the ending to season 3, in my opinion, top five, top five anime scenes in a movie in of all time to me. Levi fighting the Beast Titan, top five.
Oh,
The
yeah.
the charge of Erwin going towards the Beast Titan and talking his team into doing it with him.
Yes.
Top 10.
Yeah.
One of the greatest speeches ever in an anime, in my opinion.
We
And the
die. Everybody's dying. We all gonna be dead, but we're gonna die together, being dead. Your horse is gonna die. Your family's gonna die. We're all gonna die. Who's with me? Yeah. They start
because
riding.
that one dude said
You
was
you would have seen my horse just jotting to the right side, going back. Sorry.
because that one dude said, he was just like, so really what you're saying is it don't really matter what we do because we gonna die anyway. He was like, yes.
Yeah.
He was like, you
He
either go
understands what I'm saying, folks. Do you guys understand as well? Do I need to
he was
reiterate?
like, you either gonna die in battle or you're
So I'm
gonna.
like, what is going on? They're charging, and then they're shooting their guns in the air, and I'm like, what are y'all gonna do? There's like, there's got to be something, and then Levi shows up, and I'm like, oh yeah, you about to get fucked up right now. You's about to get, and he went up his arm. He used his arm as he sliced his arm to get all the way up to where he needed to go, and then kept slicing it. Was like, is this the Levi that I heard of? That's right, Bo. This is Levi you heard of. Oh, yeah, it was, yes, it was
Brought this
beautiful.
man to his knees, and you're
Mm.
just like, oh my god.
Had him
And
crying and trying to run away,
yes.
and the only reason why they were keeping him alive is that way so Schwarzenegger can eat him. And I was like, that's brilliant. This is the most brilliant strategy I've ever heard of. Then that ugly thing, crawling thing, scoops him up, and I'm like, no, and then he does it again. I'm like, how I get fooled by that twice? Like,
I
I'm like, he did
know.
it once. Okay, he's not gonna do it again. But then he does it again with a dude on the back like he's a horse. Just like, sorry about that, but we had to collect our people. It's like, keep it going.
Oh my gosh.
And then
Never.
for a fact that everyone, okay, they're gone, everyone's dead. And then his best friend, like, I mean, dude is just like nothing is there. Like, sorry, I had to lie to you. He just, because all his lips, everything's gone. So he's there and he's dead like this. And he goes, what? Crispy's
Oh
alive. Crispy
You were
is alive.
we were
But I
just
had
like,
forgotten about what the injection does. I never thought about it like that. And they did the whole entire time. The whole point was to bring somebody back, or to make them eat. And I'm like, that is a brilliant strategy. So you
Hmm.
know what the strategy is, and then you're like, you know what? Absolutely, we're gonna bring him back. Then it's like, Captain's alive. What? His guts are spilling out right now. So use it on him. What? And then you look, and then it goes off like, oh, who they gonna pick? And then you know for a fact that they gotta pick, the captain to sit there and do all that. And I'm like, okay, I'm with it. I'm with it. That makes perfect sense. But dude, man, the other guy was so good too. Then they start comparing notes. Like, captain did this, but so and so knew about this. Well, then the captain did this, but so and so knew about this. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So who you gonna pick? Then he finally picks. Then the captain's like, psh, didn't even say anything else. I'm like, what? Stop.
I
Y'all
know.
my heart right now.
I know every single second of that. You're just like, but wait, no. It's just, has you going. My heart was going the entire time the episode was running. I was just like, there's no way. And you have to like keep watch. I think I watched both of those episodes back to back like 5 times in a row. I was like, there's no way they did it this way.
What got me was when they were in the I keep wanting to call it the funeral scene, but it wasn't a funeral. It was like a congratulatory thing for the team surviving or whatever. And that dude was like, "Why are we celebrating? Because the captain's gone and all these people gone. We need to be celebrating." And we gave up on the people. And then he turns to what's her name?
Armin.
N-
Oh,
uh,
Mikasa.
huh?
Mikasa.
Yeah, Mikasa, and goes, and you gave up on him too. I saw you, and she was like, "Not the right time. This is not the right time." And I was like, I can't believe he said that. So he knows that now. She feels that right now. And she agreed that it should have been the captain, which changes the relationship. And I'm like, what's going to happen there? I don't know. Maybe it doesn't, but it's just the fact that it was said was enough.
Yes.
This reminds me of, remember One Tree Hill?
Oh God, yes. They had so many moments like that.
One Tree Hill was like nothing but drama all the time.
Yes.
It didn't matter. And they always be talking like, well, that's why I slept with your wife.
Out of nowhere.
You would know better than I about cheating, Dan. Whose baby is it, Walter? Huh, Michael? Like, and that's how they did it too. Every
That's how
episode,
they
you were
every
like, "Geez,
and
like they gonna cut."
once again, it
Well,
was the last 5 seconds of every show. You're just like, oh, play the next one.
mm-hmm.
Play the next one. It's always like that, man.
And so yeah, this show really is spectacular. I'm gonna be so sad when it's over because I know. And then Jay, just to imagine, like I'm watching that, and then when I stop watching that, I play Hogwarts Legacy. I'm having the time of my life right.
That sounds like a great day.
This is, and I sent a video to I wonder if that can make this video pop up on here, because if I can, I would be the coolest person in the world.
Okay, while you're trying
Gonna
to do that, I'm going to bring up another great moment in Attack on Titan.
you do
When Armin was facing Bertolt as the colossal titan, when Bertolt was the colossal titan, and and he was almost ready to transform, but he didn't know where Reiner was. So Armin and him are having this conversation on the rooftop, and he's just like, can we talk about it? And then Bertolt was just like, yeah, can you guys all lay down and die when we're done talking? He was like, because that's the only way this is gonna end. And you're just like, what in the world? Like literally, he's just like, yeah, I don't hate you guys. You guys aren't evil. You aren't devils, but you gotta die. I'm sorry. It's just like
my
that's the way it's gotta be. And they don't even know why. And that's the craziest part about it, is no one even knows why this is happening. Why do you have to kill us? Why does this have to be a battle? Um and they basically, oh my gosh, it's just, there's so many great moments. But
what's
then
burnt dude's name?
you said what?
What's burnt dude that his name?
Armin. And that's the
Arm
thing. A lot of the names are similar, which I don't like. So you have Armin and you have Erwin, um, and Aaron is the main character. And it's too many of the same names running around, and that's what confuses so many people that I do talk to. That's just like, I don't know if I get it. And yeah, there is a similarity with a lot of the way a lot of them look. But for season three, it was just for me, it was the feeling of hopelessness that I got when you have Mikasa and them trying to fight Berthold as the colossal titan who is literally lifting buildings on top of them on one side of the wall. And then you have the beast titan
Yeah,
and Levi and them on the other side who is
yeah.
literally throwing boulders at them. And you're just like, how are they supposed to win? This is an impossible battle.
It was just I gosh, it's both sides, and I'm like, who thought this was a good idea? The minute y'all saw the coffee cups and that everything was cold, the coffee wasn't hot, that means they've been waiting on you. And he even said they knew we were coming. And I'm like, okay, so you knew they were coming, then why didn't you just say we should come back on another day? Just my thoughts. Like, you know what? They were waiting on us. Let's just go ahead. But like, no, I want to find out what that key does. And I'm like, this key better be some serious mess. And then I was very happy to see what the key was. I did not. I wanted it to be like a whole room with all these experiments and all these things happening and going on. That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
But when it ended up
Yeah.
being something so simplistic, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Let me tell you this. And
Yes.
it's brilliant because everybody knew that key opened up a room. And when it didn't,
Yes.
you're like, what the heck is going on? They had to keep going to figure out what was going on. And then they're like, well, then how do we get this room open? And like Levi was like, are you fucking kidding me? It's a wooden
Like, what
door.
are we?
It's just like, are we really gonna have a conversation? Kicks the door in like it was nothing. Like, moving on. Like, what are you doing? What do you think I'm doing?
They were
It's like,
literally about to sit there and have a conversation about the fact that Key wouldn't go into the door.
yeah. All right, let me see. No, that's not it. I almost grabbed the wrong key thing, but did that work? I grabbed it and clicked it. Click upload. Oh, now it's uploaded. Okay. But yeah, it was that. It was those scenes. It was I have never been on an emotional roller coaster like that, and
Yes.
I am thankful for it. And I'm looking forward to see what happens. My goal now is to find a way to get you to start playing Hogwarts Legacy so you can feel what I feel. Um,
Oh yes.
so
I
this
am
is
a
my person. I'm gonna see. All right, so this is part two of episode 11 because I have no idea what happened and it just cut this whole entire stream off for some reason. Maybe it didn't allow. You know what? I'm gonna click this again. If it clicks it again, if it cuts it off, then I'll know why. That's just. It doesn't show the whole thing. It just shows. Did you see it?
yeah, I saw it, but like I said, it only showed the middle part.
That's the most pointless thing I think I've ever seen in my life. I'm so embarrassed by that. I need to be
Well, it was a piece. It was a piece.
anyway. So that's my
And
character, and you can't see the character, and that's just bothersome. But all that work that I did to make it happen, and then you can't even see it. But I sent it to a friend, my coworker, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, like can you?" I was like, "Yeah." So it's just like you know me when I play games, I do not go and do side quests. I do not go and like try to grab every like you know what? Go here and pick up all the apples. You get all the apples, you get a special prize. I don't do that. I keep it moving. Like if I need to get apples in order to beat this game, then I would do that. But if I don't need the apples to beat this game, I'm not gonna do that. This is the first game ever in my history where I've collected almost everything.
that's insane.
Yeah,
That, and I know as someone that knows you, I know you are not that person. I'm that person. So to hear you say that that part of the game is fun has me excited. We're still not going to talk about Wind Waker, Zelda, and the Triforce pieces that you had to search for through every island. It's the only game I've ever seen you give up on. So it's
you beat it.
yeah.
The only Zelda game I've never beaten. Yeah, that and Majora's Mask. Get that bullshit.
Oh my gosh, even
Majora's Mask is the greatest thing. I'm
they
not playing the same
still
thing every single day. That's so dumb. Are you
they
kidding me?
still talk about how Majora's Mask is the greatest thing, and I'm just like, what? They're like, no, but you get every single time you do it again. I was like, no, 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 we're not. This is not a what do they call those roguelites? This is not a roguelite. This is nothing to do with that type of game. I don't mind playing a game, a stage over and over again, and be powerful the next time you do it. But you don't even know how to go out and get the powers. You
Yeah,
don't even know how to go out and do these things. If you did not have a guidebook, I use a guidebook. Or I used to use a guidebook when playing adventure games to make them faster because I didn't want to spend all day on it. But I knew if I plunked it out and stayed on it long enough, I would figure out where I'm supposed to go and what
hmm
I'm supposed to do. That
hmm
is the one game that I don't think even with a guidebook, it's very difficult to figure out what you're supposed to be doing
yes,
and when you're supposed to do it.
yes,
Um, it's for a very specific group of people that love that game, and it's you can't tell them anything differently when you do
no.
meet those people. They are convinced that it's the greatest Zelda game of all time.
Just
For
the
me,
the garbage I've ever seen in my life. The moon, the ugliest thing I think I've ever seen in my life. I I almost had nightmares because it's just creepy looking, and I'm like, I've never played a Zelda game where I've been creeped out because something is staring at me the way it's staring at me. And I'm like, why are you staring at me like this? Why is the moon doing this? And I'm sure the storyline explains everything on it, but not interested. That one and Skyward Sword is the other one that I never played. I never even played Skyward Sword. I feel like there's one more, the one where he turns into a wolf.
oh, Twilight Princess.
Yeah. So
I played Twilight Princess. Twilight Princess was a lot of fun, but I never beat it. That's the
I,
game that I stopped playing Zelda on. I
yes,
haven't played any other ones after that.
that game made me stop playing Zelda because that thing got on my last nerves.
Midna?
Yeah.
Oh, I love Midna.
Man, I am a gamer. I've always been a gamer, but then there are certain things about certain games that people put in there that I'm like, it does not help the story. And I know has a purpose and everything, but you can't give me a certain style and then change that style and still tell me it's the same thing. I'm sorry, I don't. Which is why Zelda, what's the latest one that's out now?
Zelda, I don't know what the newest one is.
So that one is true to Zelda form. It has everything that Zelda is a an extremely massive, like, you got to figure out what you need to do in order to beat the game. And they brought that back to this particular Zelda that's on a Nintendo Switch. And that's why I fell in love with it. I love it. The second one's getting ready to come out. And if it's exactly like the first one, I'm going to play it and enjoy it. But if it's some weird one off where it's kind of like Majora's Mask or anything like, I'm not. I don't like gimmicks for gimmicks sake.
Yeah,
Hey,
I
everybody,
agree.
we have a Wii thing, so now you can do this with the sword that you've never been able to do. No, give me my Zelda game that I asked for. I don't ask for any. I'm not a difficult person. I'm very easy. I feel to get along with. Give me the game that makes me want to sit down and truly enjoy it. And I'm like, that's what Harry Potter did. Hogwarts Legacy does because Hogwarts Legacy does stuff in the game that it does not have to do, and it does it because they know people enjoy playing video games. This was not a person that loves playing uh I gotta say it right. This is the whoever made this, and I know people are gonna disagree with me. The crew that made this game weren't people who love Harry Potter. They were people who love video games. They made
Exactly.
a Harry Potter like game. And
Yeah.
that's what makes it different because if you made a Hogwarts game, it would have been nothing about Quidditch. It's all Quidditch this, Quidditch that, Quidditch, and everything's about. Well, we gotta make sure we get to the Quidditch game. Did you get to the Quidditch game? And it'll be all about that, trying to do something like that, and everybody knows it. This game focuses on a person being discovered in a different way and what this person has to go through. And you decide how you want to take it on. They don't care if you decide to be good. They don't care if you decide to be bad because that's your choice. And there's not an option of, well, he's bad, so we all see him as bad. No, because half the time when you're in school, people don't know if you're going to be bad or not. You got the jerks that turn into be the greatest people in the world, and you got the greatest people in the world who become jerks. That's what college, like high school slash, is like. Everybody experienced that. So these people that created this thing decided to go that route, and they did an amazing job doing that. It just happens to be in the Harry Potter Hogwarts world, and that's what makes it work because they said we love making and playing video games. We're going to make a game that we want to play. So no longer are the side quests like, can you help me? I can't find my dog. Well, why would I be looking for a dog when someone's trying to kill me? Instead, now I have someone sitting there saying, do you know what this is? You might want to discover it because it could help you out. And I'm like, yeah, I do need to know what that is. Why is that statue there? What's the purpose of that? Okay, so now you find out, okay, now that statue has a purpose, and now you learn something about the lore of that world. And I'm like, that's more
Mm.
intriguing to me than someone like, my cat is missing. And then on top of that, getting the clothes and getting the outfits. You're like, okay, why do I care about changing my outfit? Why do I care about the wardrobe? I don't. But then you realize that the wardrobe actually plays a part in the game, and then that changes everything. So now, for the first time ever, by doing something, it helps create something else in a storyline to keep the quest going. So I'm like, okay, now I'm in. Now there's other things you can go about finding and doing this and try. I'm doing everything I can not to spoil anything, but I'm just saying that for the first time in a long time, they made quests worth doing because the reward was that good. I'm tired of someone saying, thank you for helping me and giving me like $50. Thanks. And you go about your business. This was like, thank you for helping me. Now you have a wand upgrade. Okay, now I'm in. All right,
Yeah.
finding this, now you can sit there and change your wardrobe and look different from everybody else. There's even certain parts, if you decide just to wear your night clothes, people are like, why are you wearing your night clothes to a classroom? That kind of stuff. It engages you. Now it's like, okay, now you don't just have to level up your person, you can level up their style. You can sit there and try and find other things to help you later on because you're going to deal with some massive things. Then you find yourself in these battles where you, for the first time, it's not like, okay, shift, left, right, up, A. All right, now I cast a spell. They don't care about that because in the end, anyone that's playing a game like that doesn't really care. They're trying to sit there and master it so they can get somebody. But what if that didn't matter and all you had to press was just the right trigger and select which one that you wanted to use and hit the button and you just do it?
Ooh.
But now you can combine it. So now instead of me just hitting you directly on, because that doesn't do enough of an attack and that person stays alive, what if I lifted you up in the air, then spent you around to confuse you, then I hit you dead in the face with an attack, but the attack was so powerful now, before the attack would just hit you, now the attack just hits you and splits off and hits two of your friends in the process. And then on top of that, I decided, you know what, to be not nice, but to be a person that's not nice and do a curse spell on top of that. And now that curse passes on to the other people, which will send them into the air. And now I'm hitting all three of y'all at once when before I could only hit just one of you. By learning how to combine my powers, that sets something different. Now I'm not worried about pressing up, down, and then trigger, and then, turn the right stick controller into a circle over and over and over, and then boom, you do a spell. I don't do that. What I
Yeah.
do is I lift you in the air, I throw you up against the wall, put a curse attack on you. The curse goes to several others. When I do another attack, I send a slashing spell directly at you where you're getting sliced like it's an animal, and then while you're sliced open, I'm sending fire directly at your chest. I'm doing all of that in three or four buttons. And then you do that, and you're like, I am the shit because you feel it. That says something.
That does say something,
Compared
especially
to
to
the Harry Potter games you were playing in the past, and you're like, all right, just up and then down and then control. Alamoror, he didn't do it. He got, and then on top of that, it takes you back out of the room. You gotta walk back into the room. Like that doesn't play games. That's a person that says, we know this game is short, so we gotta make it longer by sitting there holding you up. This
hmm
game is a 20 something hour game if you don't do anything except for just play the game. But if you do a bunch of stuff in there, it rewards you extremely well. You get more powerful. And there's
Hmm.
nothing more awesome than becoming more powerful. And everyone gets to decide what they want to make them more powerful. And when you do, it's an amazing thing. You can go to class and learn how to make your spells better, or you cannot go to class. The choice is on you. But for the first time ever, they got people playing games that are kids that want to go to school. If that don't sell you right there,
I'm
want
telling
to go to
you.
school?
Yeah, there's so many incredible things I've heard about this game, and you may have just sold me on the well, I was already sold. But this is literally the game. I feel like it's gonna make game of the year. I feel like it's gonna make a lot of people mad, but I feel like I feel like if they don't choose it as game of the year, it's for political reasons.
Oh,
It,
absolutely.
there's
Because I
no
know
way.
the reasons. And there was like something I was watching on YouTube that said they tried to strike this game because of who created the whole entire Harry Potter thing. They tried to strike it and say it's not good just for that reason, and it did the exact opposite. And it's not stopping. It's going full steam, and more people are hearing about it, and more people are playing it. Even people in the community that said they would never touch that are falling in love with the game and wanting to play it. I am not a Harry Potter fan. I'll be the first person to tell anyone I am a fan of great games. You make a great game, I'm sitting down watching it. I've told other people like I'm not a big fan of the second God of War game. I don't want to play as the kid. I don't. I did not pick up that game and spend $65 on it so I can play as him. I played to play God of War. That's what I wanted. And when I'm playing as that kid, I get annoyed because of how he acts and what he does and how he's getting on my nerves. I'm a grown man. I know how a kid acts and I know how I act. And I'm like, I would never do that in a scenario. So I can't see myself playing it because it's not real for me. I know it's not a real game, but it's not real for me. And kudos to the people that make it. They have a style of how they do it. There's nothing wrong with that. But you're playing God of War. And at a certain point in the game, you're not a god. That's a problem for me. If
Mhm.
I'm playing Lulu, the chocolate star bear who shoots out stars, and they're like, you know what? We're going to have you shoot out triangles. You've lost me because the whole point is that she shoots out stars. Don't do that to a person. And people think that's a cool and new way of fancy. No, it doesn't grab me. I'm like,
No.
I'm not a fan of that. I don't need Kratos to sit there and have these really, really deep conversations because I told the boy that, well, I guess I do love the boy. I don't. I'm sorry. Like, keep it simple, keep it going. Like, that's not why I play. I play because I am using these awesome, incredible powers that only Kratos has, and he's taking out these massive titans and like bringing them to their knees. That's
Yeah.
why I play it. So if you
Yeah.
take that away, it's no longer the game that I enjoy and love. I don't need the conversations. They're cool if I'm doing other things while I'm playing, but it's not cool if I can't go any further until I sit down and I'm having a deep conversation. That's not me. I don't need to talk to a squirrel. I'm talking to a squirrel in this game. When in the right mind do you ever think Kratos would be sitting down having a conversation with a squirrel? Really? That's what you made me pay $65 for? Okay, I'm going back to Hogwarts, where I'm sitting there taking animals and rescuing them in a bag. I open the bag up, they get sucked in, and I get to bring them to a place that makes them happier. I still think I'm still in the animals, if you ask me, but still, it's part of the game. And then to sit there and have a room of requirement, when you get to that part, I'm just saying it's called a room requirement. I'm not saying anything, but when you get to that part, you're like, I don't know if I'm gonna spend time in here. Do you find yourself, oh my God, did I just waste 3 hours in this location? That's a good game. When you lose track of time and people have to locate you and figure out where you are, and it's not an MMO game, that sets the boundaries of what a good game is. And that's what sold me. So you got Attack on Titan that I've never seen before. And I'm going to bed watching it. So I wake up in the morning, I watch a couple episodes, I play Hogwarts, and then I go back to bed and I watch more episodes. Of course, work, family, the situations, things, and you do all that.
Yeah.
But the time that I have to sit there and do that, it's incredible. And I'm looking, I know when you start playing, you're going to be pissed that you still have a job. And I'm like, that says a lot. When you are pissed that you have to work and do other obligations, that's a good video game. And they sold me on it. Kudos to them for that. I am floored by what I'm doing right now because I've never experienced something like that. Of course, I got responsibilities of taking care of family and doing all of that. And I do all that. I make sure that I'm there and doing everything that I can. But when family is okay and everything is good to go, boom, I'm on it and I'm loving every second of it. And I can't seem to put it down. Even the pause screen is just magical. The pause screen. You're in pause and you're looking at stuff to figure out where you want to go, reading up on information, and I'm excited about that. That's just that.
Oh, that's absolutely incredible. I know that as soon as I start playing, I'm gonna let all of you know. I want to start streaming soon. Now that I finally have a webcam, I want to
Can you
start.
stream and play at the same time?
Yeah, I should be able to. There's people that are already starting to stream on their Steam decks, so I'm hoping that I can figure out how to make mine do the same now that I have the and they were doing it without the docking station. But I actually have a docking station, so I'm hoping that helps the process and helps me to be able to get on Twitch and do that. The only thing I need to do is log on and see, and I haven't had the chance to do it. But I want to shift gears really quick because this topic is super time sensitive, and so I feel like if we wait another week, it won't be as interesting as it is now.
Okay.
But the Oscars just happened, and I went and uh I saw Everything Everywhere All at Once. I thought it was incredible. I thought it was a phenomenal movie. I don't see Jamie Lee Curtis beating Angela Bassett. I just don't see it. I don't know how they don't see it. I don't like This is probably the biggest upsetting thing I've seen on TV since the slap. Like literally that was that cuz it really was a slap in the face in my opinion. I think Jamie Lee Curtis did a very good job. I think that Jamie Lee Curtis deserved an Oscar way before now. I didn't know she didn't have one. I 100% feel like she, with her body of work, should have had an Oscar before this Oscar season. And I don't know why she didn't. But this one was Angela's. I
Let me
just, oh,
school
go ahead.
you because you're about to get really pissed, and I'm going to tell you why she got the Oscar and why Angela Bassett didn't get it. If I was there at the Oscars and I had to present after that award, I would look at everybody. Well, one, I would never go to the Oscars. Let's just start that. But let's just,
You might
if
get slapped.
the Oscars, you know for a fact that every year is designed for a certain nationality. Black Panther Wakanda Forever was supposed to come out the year prior, and she would have gotten it. It had to come out later because of COVID. She lost her year. They do. I have always felt this since watching Oscars as a kid that one year it's white people, one year it's black people, and then the third year is the other minorities that are out there. And in those third years of minorities that are out there, that's when a white female seems like to be able to get an award. You can go back and track it. It's right there in front of your face. So it was already Jamie Lee Curtis's award because they gypped her from before. So in the awards and how they do the Oscars, if they missed out on giving you one, you automatically get one later on at a pivotal time. This year was about the Asian community because especially what the Asians have been going through, it's been horrible for them. Now it's their year and they got it. It's also the year for people that are making comebacks. So who can we give it a comeback? Brandon Fraser. So he does that. On top of that, you got the Asian guy who played in the movie you're talking about, who was also in uh I know the theme song, Indiana Jones movie.
Indiana
So
Jones.
you have the comebacks and then you have the people that we were supposed to give one to and we didn't. That's what this year was. She wasn't gonna get I knew she wasn't gonna get it. She could have done even better than what she already did and she wasn't gonna get it. It sucks because they should have changed the category a little bit to allow both of them to do it. But why would they? They're the Oscars. You can't until people actually make a conscious decision, and that's all the actors out there to excuse me, redesign the Oscars, you're gonna get what you're gonna get, and it's designed to be that way, so it comes across fair every single time. But the people that are running it don't know how to be fair, so it's never fair. And so you can slap somebody and win an Oscar because you have to get it that year. You have to, because that was the year. But you also will negate somebody else next year because last year was that year for them to be getting it. Last year, it should have been Will Smith and Angela Bassett. That's what it was going to be. And that was going to be the talk of the town. But because of how the movies had to come out later, it prevented her from being able to get it. And you can't go by who acted the best in the movie. If someone had a short role or someone had a big role, doesn't matter. That's not how the Oscars do their thing. And the Oscars, in my opinion, take a snippet of a movie. They don't watch the whole movie. They take a snippet and they judge everybody off that snippet and then they say who wins. And I feel they don't even do that because that's what they're supposed to do. They
No,
don't do that.
they couldn't because the snippet they would have got with Jamie Lee Curtis walking around with a paper or with a circle on her head. Like
Ex-
how, like
exactly. But if you know for a fact that if like behind closed doors, there'll be people who are like, she should have gotten this on year so and so because of this. And she's doing this one particular movie that shows something that aside of her we've never seen before. By default, you guys know the rules. We have to give it to her. They're like, but Angela Bassett, oh, technically Angela Bassett's movie should have came out the year prior, and because it didn't because of COVID, she's missed that opportunity. But because of how well she did in that movie, we predict that in the next 5 to 7 years, she's going to be able to get it for something else, and it's going to be watch. Angela Bassett is going to get the Oscars for the most dumbest role you've ever seen. Angela Bassett does Big Mama 4, and she plays Big Mama. Like, oh my gosh, did y'all see how she would get an Oscar for that just because they owe her one from before? That's how I've always felt about it. I know the majority of planet Earth will disagree with me, and God forbid someone's gonna watch this video in a year or two and repost this and say he said this along. It's the truth. Oscars aren't real. You go there and it's designed to be a certain. Oscars is a machine. You put the stuff in the machine spits it back out, and that's who the winners are each and every single time. There is no fairness about it whatsoever. It's calculated and done the exact same way with a bunch of people. They say they get different people, and they probably do. But if I am one that's like picking someone to win, and then it's not my year to do it, but I pick the next person, and I pick you, Javis, we both gonna pick Angela Bassett, right?
mm-hmm,
So that's why it's not going to be Angela Bassett because the next group that comes and does it, they're going to pick who's the one that won? Jamie Lee Curtis. That's just how it is. Jamie Lee Curtis should have got an Oscar for so many other things that she's done in her life and never got one. And I'm sure she's feeling some kind of way about now y'all give me one. I was barely even in this movie. Like I don't even think I was in there enough to even make the credits. But y'all should have given me this years ago, so I'm taking it. And that's how it is. And you can't even argue with that. It's it's the most stupidest thing in the world. I didn't even watch the Oscars because if anyone truly watched the Oscars, what should have won, hands down, in every shape of its form, was RRR. But they got to do a performance and they got to win for the music. But at the same time, they should have won for a heck of a lot more. But it wasn't their year. If RRR came out next year, RRR would be getting all the awards. But it didn't, so therefore, it's got to wait till something else happens. The behind the scenes of what it took to do RRR, the situational of just building something like that, the phenomenal graphics, the storyline, such a powerful story. It's one of the most amazing movies I've ever seen, and if it had came out a year later, it would be getting all those awards. If Black Panther Wakanda Forever had to come out the year prior, it would have gotten all the awards. It's so sad to see that that's how they use that strategy, and I'm more upset that people haven't figured out what that strategy is because it's literally like white, black, minorities with mixed white, and then films from out of the country. I think that's year four. So like let's hear it for blah 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 movie from such and such place that no one's ever really saw winning the Oscar for best. That's it. They'll do that because it's I think it's like the 4 year run, and then they go right back again and the same trickle keeps happening every single time. And you can kind of almost predict who's going to be getting the awards based off what year it is. Look at the year prior; it's going to tell you what's going to happen the year next. All the awards last year, all these awards for African Americans came out last year. So it's not going to be the African Americans this year. Them's the rules, and like those are the Oscars. To get mad at the Oscars now is to be getting mad at the sun for going down every night. Why are you going down? It's what I do. What was that fable that people had? The scorpion that asked the frog to take it across the water.
Yeah.
And the frog is like, "Why did you sting me? Now we both going down." He's like, "That's just who I am. That's my nature." That's Oscars. Change Oscars, and you change the whole entire game. But nobody wants to stand up and change the Oscars, except for someone with no hair. May she rest in happiness. But anything else, you're not gonna get it. If Precious had came out a year before or a year after, it would never got any awards. That's just how it is. And I'm like, people want to jump up and be like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I got an Oscar. This is such an awesome feeling. I feel so incredible." But I'm like, I'm sorry. Like it was your year to get one. So people, and I feel that there are people that are in the industry that know that, which is why they'll delay a movie or put a movie out at a certain time because they know automatically by default they're gonna get the award for it. So that's just that's my take on the Oscars. Angela Bassett, in my opinion, already got it. I don't feel she needs an Oscar to showcase how incredible she is because it's Angela Bassett. For common sense sake, we watched a woman on a TV movie, the Jackson's 5 story, and she killed it. Like, why are you acting this well for a TV movie on a local channel? Nobody does that much work for it. You just did you see all the other actors that were in there with you? Like, why are you going so hard on this? Because that's what she naturally does. She is naturally amazing at everything that she does. Period. In the story. She doesn't do bad movies. There are bad movies that may have her in it, but she doesn't do bad movies. That's just what it is. That's how great she is. And so she's going to get an award. It's going to be probably in the next 3 years, she's going to get that award. And then everyone's going to be like, well, she should have got it for such and such. Well, it's the Oscars. Stop getting mad at the Oscars for being Oscars. It's what it is. The head of the people used to sit there and think it was okay doing what they did to women. That's why the Me Too movement and all that. And they were sitting there honoring that man while he was still doing those things to those women. That's the bottom line. That's the Oscars. You can do that, but you can't slap a person. So the rules Oscars are jacked up to begin with. So no respect to the Oscars. I'm not gonna get an Oscar for this. Maybe I will, and I'll stand up there and be like, "You guys really love me." I'm not showing up to the Oscars. No. Back to you, James.
I stayed quiet during this one because I'm so upset because I'm sure you're 100% right about this. And it's the I can't even tell you how many times I felt this way watching the Oscars. So you have to be right about this, because it's not about that. Even the year that Monique won, in her speech she said, "I want to thank you for showing um, the world that it's about the talent and not about the politics." Well, was it really about the talent? Because if it was her year, she could have done damn near anything and she would have still won the award, according to what you're saying. And so I know we're at the 30-minute mark, but it's just watching the Oscars. We all know that Angela Bassett should have won
All
for
about it.
yeah.
This is a task. Yeah, here comes Angela Basket. You better act your behind off with that basket too.
I
I don't want that basket. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it, Joe.
that it's just the fact that we all know she should have won for playing Tina Turner.
Yep.
We all know that that was her Oscar and she
Yep.
lost it. So to
She
see
should have
her,
won for the Jackson 5. I don't think that was an Oscar for that one, but she should have won for that. It does not stop. Like I said, she was in some movie that was on Netflix, and she did a great job on that. I think she might have done martial arts in that movie. I'm not sure, but
yeah,
she was amazing. It's Angela Bassett. She did an interview, and it's just her talking to people. I'm like, wow, she should have gotten an Oscar for
should
that.
have got an Oscar. I
Ask it.
mean, like literally, I mean, Aquila and the Bee,
Yeah,
like she should should have won an Oscar. And it's just the fact that this is like, and you're right, it's probably like 15th time, but really for me, it's her sitting there and seeing her lose is the second time for me. And literally, the look as you that was the look she had on her face. I was ready to punch somebody in the face, man.
What
For the
makes it hilarious about that? You were ready to punch somebody in the face, and who comes out next? The cast of Creed.
yes,
And what did they all do? They looked at her and said, "We love you," and that was
yep,
their way of saying it should have been you. That's who
yep,
they were looking at. That's who they were talking to.
hmm
That's because it's facts. Everybody knows. There's no question about it. If Creed had a came out last year, oh my gosh, this simplicity in that. Imagine if Creed came out last year along with Black Panther last year. This I'm talking 2020.
yeah. 2021,
2021. Yeah.
yeah,
Those things came out in 2021 because the awards for like when Will Smith got his 2022. Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, that would have been some awesome days for everybody. And
I'm
then
telling you.
it would have been incredible. But at the same time, like I said, it's if my theory is not right, then somebody will prove me wrong. But I guarantee you, it's gonna be a lot of I don't know. I get the feeling it's gonna either be a lot of
Well, here's my prediction for this year. This year, by the end of this year, you and I are gonna do I don't know what to call it. We'll call it because since our initials are JWL, we'll call it the Jewel Ceremony. And we're gonna give out our own Jewel Award to the best movie of this year at the end of this year. And we'll continue to do that until it gets big enough to be an Oscar.
so far. Creed 3 is in a great contender. See how
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
If
And
not
even
Creed 3, the movie is Creed 3 where the two cast members were checking out that girl's behind when she left. That was priceless. You see
what?
that interview?
No.
They being interviewed by this black woman. She's like, "Thank you guys so much." She's like, "Oh no, thank you. We had a great time." And she gets up, and as she's walking away, they're like, both of them at the same time. That deserves a Jewel Award right there. The Jewel.
Send that to me, please. I gotta
Oh
see
my god,
that.
I lost my mind when I saw that because it was just awesome. It is like simplistic form. It was just like that's exactly what a guy would have. Oh my gosh, it's so.
That's
Yeah,
that's
you can't
freaking
even.
hilarious.
You can get mad at it. You can not get mad. It was just like what happened was because it was unconscious. He
Yes.
got up to leave, and instead of them being like talking to each other, all right, that was a good like that, they were like a head because one of them had the head turn. One was just the eyes. Head turn was the other one. Yeah, great interview.
Oh my god.
So we'll
All right.
get that Jewel Awards coming up for us. We'll do that. That sounds like a fun idea. Thank you guys for tuning into what I'm gonna just go call episode 11 and episode 12, all mashed into one because 11 was like 20 something minutes. This ended up being over 30 minutes, and what we got to talk about was great. So, again, thank y'all for being here. We enjoyed ourselves. Tune in to the next episode. We'll have a new one to you next week. Keep it locked and loaded. See you later.
Bye, you guys.